The mayor of Talty and serves in that capacity, and was talking to him the other day, and I didn't realize something, but the city of Talty is probably the only city in the county that doesn't have a property tax. So Mr. Todd Hutton, everybody might want to move to Talty.
Thank you, Bill. Well, as Bill said, I am the mayor of Talty, and I don't know if we are the only city in Kaufman without a tax, but if we are, we're certainly not ashamed of that. All right. Should I be right up here? Can you hear me now? All right, I'll start over for this. You guys that missed it. I am the mayor of Talty, Texas. My name is Todd Hutton, and we are, in fact, a city that has no property tax. We were founded that way back in 1999, and I've been serving as the mayor for 2 years and on the city council for the 2 years prior to that, and we've kept it that way. In fact, as long as I'm in control, it will stay that way. Realizing that today is tax day, I hope everybody's got their tax returns in the mail or got an extension or something. But at any rate, you know, something struck me when I was reading up on the events for today, and I saw that some of the media was reporting on some of our officials in Washington, D.C., and they hadn't quite decided whether they wanted to participate in these events because they didn't know if, you know, maybe we were fringe radicals or that kind of thing, and, you know, maybe they needed to take some polls and see whether, in fact, common sense was still common. If you ask me, common sense is not changing. It's a constant, it never changes, and we know that taxing and spending does not work. In that regard, I would like to say, without a teleprompter here, I can tell you unashamedly that I love America. I will always love America, and I don't apologize for America. And I'll tell you this, if the founders of this country were radicals, count me in. Yes. And on that note, if we think back in history, what we call these the Tea Parties, the Boston Tea Party was in fact the spark that it resulted in the flame of the revolution from which this country was born. And the reason for that was that there was taxation without representation. And that is a problem in this country today. We all know that. That's why we're here. And so the thought occurred to me is that if we have a representative government, one of two things exist here. Either we're not being represented, or we're all a bunch of crazies. And I submit to you that it's the former. I don't think that we are being represented. I don't think that the average American wants what is happening to our country today. It is because we love our country and we love our children, and we know what we're leaving for our children. This unbridled spending and taxation has got to end. And so those of you who don't know me, I'm an attorney, and I spent 4 years of my legal career fighting government corruption. And I ran into some of the most astounding things in that line of work that would really shock you. I just want to give you one example of the way government corruption and the overtaxation are tied together. Because basically what happens is that when government taxes the people and then uses those tax dollars to fund various projects, somebody eventually is going to get squeezed out of something. And for example, you guys may be familiar with these economic development type programs various cities have. Well, what that is a way for the government, through its taxation power, takes your money, bundles it up, and then gives it to some other business that they've handpicked to come into their city, and they hand them the money to build their building, and then the other people that earn it the old-fashioned way are squeezed out. They can't compete with the government. So we're allowing our representative government to take our money, which they then turn around and handpick who they want to succeed. We're seeing that all around the country right now with the General Motors, you name it. You know what's going on. This is not the American way. That is not free market. We know that that will fail. So the question is begged, why is it happening? The answer, we're not being represented. So if that makes us radicals, so be it. Another revolution, you know, maybe is what we need at this point. As sure as I'm standing here, I can tell you that the free market system, capitalism at its finest, is what built this country. It's what has allowed people to bring themselves up, the immigrants that have talked to us from all different backgrounds to come here, and if they just put their nose to the grindstone and work a full day's work, they will succeed. This country, that's why they come here. But unfortunately, we are, as we speak, this is being ripped out from under us. The very foundations of this great system that was created by our forefathers is being destroyed. And what that is to me is that it's kind of like a thief in the night. And slowly but surely, all the liberties that we fought for and that we cherish so much are being taken from us. And it's what the end result is going to be is that the big S word, the socialism, communism, all the things that we fought so hard against just as recently as the 80s with Reagan. Anybody heard of Reagan? We beat the communist system without firing a shot because our free market system worked. We outspent them, we outproduced them, we out-invented them. We outdid them in every respect. And now, 20 years later, we're turning around and following the same model, and it just boggles my mind. Anyway, I could go on and on about all this stuff, as you can probably imagine. That could be. I want to point out something that struck me too when I was getting ready for this deal. A quote that I ran across. It says, "We are perpetually being told that what is wanted is a strong man who will do things, when what is really wanted is a strong man who will undo things, and that will be the real test of strength." Which leads me to this whole change thing. We need change. Change you can believe in. Why did we want to change anything? What was wrong with the old system that we have had for 2 centuries now that has worked better than any other system ever known to man? We need to get back to the basics. We need to quit all this change and all this experimenting with our children's future. Get back to what we know what works. And in closing, I would like to just mention that unlike the colonists, the ones who threw the Tea Party, today we have nowhere else to go. America is and always will be that shining city that Reagan talked about, the shining city on a hill. And without her, there's little hope for liberty or the future of generations to come. Therefore, we must remember that today is the beginning, not the end of this movement. We must keep going forward. And as Goldwater said, extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. So we should remember that. We're not radicals. We're not to be shoved aside. We are the backbone of this great country, and we will be heard. So we must stand strong, and together we can take America back, and she will once again shine in glory as our founders intended, and the blood of so many have ensured. And in closing, I'd like to just remind you of a good quote, another one, that is very fitting here. You may have heard it. But if you ever lend somebody $20 and never see them again, it was probably worth it.
Well said.